Welcome to the ISB podcast. I'm your host Sahil here with Rahi and Roy. Another day of Asian qualifiers, boys. So we're going to be covering all of it. For those enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. First off, I just want to say, guys, the atmosphere for Asian qualifiers is like nothing else. Have you seen these stadiums? They're packed, they're loaded, except for the ones that they're not allowed to, right? Bring fans. The ones that are loaded.
Jakarta was rocking today, Roy. And also, can I say salamat to all my friends, because what a day it was for Indonesia again, Roy. What a day.
80,000 screaming, crying, passionate fans came out to see their team pull off absolute heroics. Indonesia, massive round of applause. What an incredible display. That's 2 games of stupendous results for the country. This national team is on the up. What is Indonesia ranked? Whatever they're ranked, it's going to be a lot higher come next season, come next year, and they're going to do extraordinary things, this team. It's so impressive to watch their growth.
It's really impressive to play against Australia. Australia obviously was reeling after that Bahrain match. So Australia was coming in with a lot to, we'll talk about Australia. We'll talk about the Socceroos, or as what did Roy call them last time?
They're not calling it soccer anymore because soccer isn't working out for them.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not working out for them. But so what stood out for you in this match? You know, started a few lineup changes. Rahi, but what stood out in this match for Indonesia holding Australia off in front of screaming fans in Jakarta?
I thought they looked incredibly comfortable once again, defended so well, closed down the space really nicely. I thought Idris in the back was a rock. Just a rock, defending for his life. I thought the left fullback also was excellent. Verdonk, I think, was so good the whole game. The other guy who I liked was a tall guy who came in sort of in the second half. I thought really solidified the midfield. And of course, Orat Mango, another good game, Roy. Another good game for my man down the wing.
Absolutely phenomenal. I loved how Verdonk played. For me, the 2 best players were probably Verdonk and once again, Martin Paz. Yes, Martin Paz, most of the saves are probably saves that he should be making, but you trust him. He's back there. He's a rock. And for a country like Indonesia to have a goalkeeper that they could trust, because they're going to be on the back foot a lot. They're going to need the communication. They're going to need the leadership, and they're getting it from him. But that backline, man, the defensive structure was so impressive that other teams should be taking notes on how to play that low block, how to play with 5 in the back, because they held Australia the entire game. Aside from the first 5 minutes and 5 minutes in each half, it was all Australia, but the danger wasn't there. It was incredible what Indonesia did.
Completely agree. Very few chances for the Australians. Indonesia was very comfortable. The one thing and the next evolution for them is they need to be a little cleaner in possession. When they did win the ball back, a few times I thought Indonesia gave the ball away too cheaply. And some teams are going to make you pay. So when you have to play against the Japans of the world, that's going to be difficult. So they need to be a lot cleaner. They defended very well, but don't give the ball away that easily.
Yep. I think it's going to be hard for Indonesia. It's going to take a while to get that chemistry. There's a lot of new players on this team. I believe they have 11 naturalized players now. There's a lot of new players coming. This is an extremely exciting time in the history of Indonesian football, but be patient. It's going to take some time. The caliber of individual talent is going to go through the roof, but to get them together, I don't know if we're going to see them passing well and creating beautiful plays just yet.
Yeah, I do want to talk about another point about Martin Paz before moving on, because this is what I think a lot of our fans out there, were saying as well. The Indonesian fans commenting on these videos, they just feel what Roy was saying. You feel a sense of calm with him back there that perhaps you didn't feel before, right? And I think that makes a huge difference.
Oh, massive. When you have a goalkeeper back there, one great example is the U.S. men's national team. We don't have a goalkeeper right now that we can trust. Indonesia does. To have that, when you're playing a defensive block, when you're getting 16, 17 shots on you in a game, and to come out with a clean sheet, that speaks volumes of the goalkeeper. Even though he didn't have 12 spectacular saves, it doesn't matter. To have someone there with that presence, it means the world to the entire team, because they know if they do their job, their goalkeeper will. It's so inspiring. It's so motivating. And me as a goalkeeper, I've had my bad days, and I know how it makes my team feel. When I make
Yeah.
one mistake, it kind of ruins things for the entire team. Martin Pass hasn't stepped wrong yet. It's been amazing.
And he's making those defenders ahead of him better, right? Because he's inspiring them. They can play with a bit more confidence, right? They can go into tackles a little bit more because he's not going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And beyond that, he's shown leadership and command of the area. That really makes a big difference as a defender because you feel buoyed by his presence. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's a conductor, man. He's conducting the orchestra that is the defensive unit of Indonesia. He's getting these guys who have never played with each other to play with each other and to do it well and organize. That's part coaching, but largely that's the goalkeeper, man. And it's so impressive. The FC Dallas man, the MLS man. Don't forget, everybody. MLS man, Martin Paz.
Maybe all our Indonesian viewers out there will start watching with Roy the MLS now. Maybe you'll watch FC Dallas.
FC Dallas games filled with Indonesians now. They deserve it. He's incredible for them as well. Come on. Let's do it.
All right. So just a quick thing. So I think there's a couple games that Indonesia can look at. They can look at the China match and they can look at the Bahrain match. Those are two ones that, you're trying to nick one. Japan is obviously going to be a hard match. We'll exclude that one for the time being. But those are the two matches I think they should target. And we'll, of course, bring more coverage on that when those games start coming up. One point before we quickly move on, Australia, what's going on? I mean, Jackson Irvine, had a decent game, but the rest of the team, I don't know what's going on with these guys.
Yeah, there's no decisiveness in the final third is the problem, is what I'm feeling. It's that final ball is missing. There's some industry in and around the box, but once they get to the box, I don't really see where the chances come from. I think on the right wing was the most dangerous, Nabil, but it was a lot of bluster, no finished product, I thought.
Yeah, and no ideas in the attacking third. I feel this is a big coaching issue. It doesn't seem like the coach has his team set up in a way where they could produce constant chances and finish those chances. And there's a complete lack of confidence after that loss in their first match to Bahrain. How are you going to go and then tie Indonesia? It's difficult. They're in a very difficult spot. They're going to have to completely revamp things tactically. And it's the mind, man. As an attacker, if you're not finishing your chances, oof.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's happened, Roy. I mean, this is a team that almost tied Argentina on the last kick of the match in that World Cup. Remember, and that time, and they gave Argentina all that Argentina could handle in that World Cup match.
Incredible against Argentina, man.
Yeah, to go a slightly disappointing Asian Cup for them, and now this, it's just Australian football. What's going on in soccer, whatever you want to call it, there, Aussies. Let's hear it from you. But
yeah,
okay.
The last time they played, I believe Australia beat Indonesia 4-0. Wasn't that
4-0? Yeah, in the Asian Cup.
Look at the difference 9 months makes Indonesia. 9 months. Wow.
9 months, and it's both tied.
That's the Martin Pass effect.
That's the FC Dallas MLS connection, boys. That's what it is.
That's the MLS effect. All right, guys, I want to move on to this match for our Chinese fans out there.
Another one.
Wow. Okay. So it's very rare in world football that you see a situation where a team is up a goal, then they go ahead, basically, they get a man advantage, which is what happened to China after a ridiculous red card by Saudi Arabia. We won't talk about that, but a ridiculous red card. And then suddenly Saudi Arabia plays better and gets the win. And as we were talking offline, maybe saved Roberto Mancini's job.
I think so. I really think so. I mean, not a good performance with Saudi Arabia in the first game. And then they were basically heading to a loss to China, which would have been disastrous for Saudi Arabia. And somehow having their backs against the wall helped them. I think they were so much better after the red card. It's almost as if the Italian Roberto Mancini brought his sort of anti-football tactics. They're used to playing a man down. I don't know what it was, Roy. I don't know what it was, but it looked like they needed to have this moment of anguish in order to come through.
Yeah. And for China, what more can you ask for? A red card. What was it? The 19th minute? And an own goal by Saudi Arabia. That's how they started this game. And then they go on to lose. It's unbelievable in front of all those fans. And yeah, I don't know what's up with Saudi Arabia. I don't know what's up with Mr. Roberto, the coach. I don't think he's the right coach for this team because this is a talented Saudi Arabia team.
Yeah.
But China, man, red card and own goal in front of your fans. That's painful.
Great opportunity. It was a great opportunity for points there, and to just drop it like that. It's Chinese like we talked about last time, China is such a soccer football obsessed country, and to go out in this match, you have a chance for a marquee victory. Everything's looking in your favor, and to go out and just come out with that kind of performance for the remainder of the 70 minutes of the match, it's just unfortunate with regard to that.
Unfortunate.
Speaking of a team that's on the upswing, though, we've seen this Uzbekistan team. They played the US in a friendly match, and remember, until the last couple minutes, it was a very close match, and we've seen them close, almost making the World Cup. Is this the year they finally get it done?
It's a good start. It's a very good start. Now, remember, they've started off with two of the easier games, right? DPR, Korea in the first game, now Kyrgyzstan in the second game. They have some tougher games to come, but they sit top of the group. And this game was on the road, and they win it after coming back from behind twice and then scoring an insane goal. You're not with the goal of the round, in my opinion. If you watch any highlights, watch that goal. Backheeled back to him, and then the goal's on a little run in the box, Roy, and it's a great finish. It's a great finish.
It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. An incredible, monumental, history-making performance from Uzbekistan. What a start to this campaign. I remember when Uzbekistan played the US, what was it, a year ago, last September. Oh, is it a year ago today? September 9th. No, today's, yeah, close. But I remember being extremely impressed with their technical ability, with their tactical awareness, with the way they possessed. They were smart. They moved the ball beautifully. They were hyper technical. And I thought that they would come away with a point, and then the US got 2 goals after the 92nd minute. But that game put Uzbekistan on the map for me from a soccer perspective. And since then, I've been watching them, noticing this is a good team. This is a team that could very well make a World Cup.
How close are you to ordering the jersey? You've had it in your cart for a while, it looks like. When are you going to click the purchase button? When are you going to order the Uzbeki jersey?
I got to find my favorite player. I still haven't decided. For the U.S. game, who played well? It was their... Urunov, I believe. They're number 11.
Same
guy
who scored today.
Yeah, Shomurodov is another player I really liked. And Shukurov. I'm using a Latin accent. I apologize, Uzbekistan fans. But I'm going to figure out, once this next result comes through, I may be buying one of their jerseys.
Okay, that's for sure. I want to talk about now finishing. Obviously, there was a bunch of results overall in the tournament, in the qualifiers today. I want to talk about one player real quick, and then we'll finish with another player. But I want to talk about the guys we all know very well, Rahi, from the Asian Cup, who was a stud then, and he continues to be a top player now. Hats off to Palestine. Another very strong performance. But today it was the Al-Naimat show.
It was the Al-Naimat show, and we've seen what he can do in big games for Jordan. A key part of that incredible Asian Cup run. And you have to feel for Palestine playing this game in Kuala Lumpur, I believe. They obviously can't be playing in Palestine right now. It's a team that's put up with a lot, that had to endure, and they looked good at moments going forward. They came back, tied the game after going down. But in the end, Al-Naimat and Jordan were too good. And this is a Jordan team we know is very good. And this is a team that has a good chance, I think, of qualifying for the World Cup, Roy.
I'm glad you mentioned Al-Naimat. He's a tremendous player. He's one of those guys that if you don't watch Asian football, you don't watch teams like Jordan very often, usually when people watch these games, they'll have a player that stands out. And they'll point and say, that player is incredible. I got to look him up. I bet he's playing at a massive club or something. But Al-Naimat, for me, is a player that could be playing anywhere in Europe. He's a phenomenal forward, incredible playmaker. I love watching him play. I was a little disappointed to see he recently made a move to a team in Qatar, I believe. I think he could make it in the Premier League. I think he could make it in La Liga. He's a tremendous player, a talent to watch. And what is he, 24, 25? It's amazing what this guy is doing for Jordan.
And Roy, you have Jordanian friends, right? So I'm sure they hit you up.
I have Wasim. Shout out to my friend Wasim. Shout out to my friend Stephen Boutros, 2 Jordanians who are really feeling good at this time.
Yeah, as they should be. So, and finishing it off with a player that's always feeling good is Mr. Heung-Min. Obviously, we did a video on him the other day, and he continues to rescue Korea. In this case, it was against Oman. Things not looking good, and then boom, here we go, another goal by Son.
Here we go. But if you're reading Korean socials, as I've been following, Thanks to my good friend Paul Kim. Shout out to Paul Kim. We're doing friend shout outs, so I'm doing that as well. But he's been telling me about the Korean socials, and they have not been happy with the way the team has performed. Of course, tying Palestine in the first game. And this game, the fans aren't happy. Was 1-1 for a long time against an Oman team they really should beat. And then it's the star man himself, the star boy, Sonny Boy, comes up with the big winner. In the end, they needed him to get the victory, but it's not a good performance, right? I don't think it's a good Korean performance. They still haven't hit their best.
No, and they haven't been playing well for a while. We had the Jurgen Klinsmann era, which I think was a huge mistake, a total distraction from growing this team. It's proven he's not a good coach. He didn't do well for the US. He hasn't done anything since. They hire him, and this is all decisions of the past coming back to haunt them. This team wasn't playing well. They got a bad coach. They're not playing well now. It's something they're going to have to just win these games. They're going to have to scrape through, win these games, get to the World Cup, then figure things out. But I understand the pain South Koreans are having, but also understand right now it's about winning. Let's get through. Let's win these games, then figure it out when the World Cup is coming up.
Yeah,
Quick question for both of you. Who's South Korea's current manager, and what is he famous for?
I don't know.
Wow, no answer.
Wow, stumped. He stumped me. He stumped me.
Yeah,
oh, Heung-Min Galaxy player.
Oh,
Galaxy.
no way!
Hey!
I have a bobblehead. I have an LA Galaxy Heung-Min bobblehead.
Yeah.
I'll have to dig it up for the next video. But that is incredible. I didn't realize he was a coach.
He's
Heung-Min
also,
I take back my bad coaching comment. I love him. Vamos LA Galaxy. Vamos Heung-Min Bo. This is incredible.
Yes.
he was on the receiving end, the bad end of the fastest World Cup goal I think ever scored.
Yes.
Against Turkey. In that third place game in the World Cup.
2002. Okay.
Wow.
So very quickly, guys, I want to close things off for our Asian viewers, but I got to ask this question because Qatar Asian champions, and they have a match today against North Korea, up a man, winning in the rain, torrential rain in Laos, where obviously North Korea has to play because they can't play in North Korea, and they allow a tying goal, North Korea 2-2. Qatar, coming off two very poor results. What's going on with these guys, right? Wait, boys, let's finish there.
I mean, look, right now in Qatar, it's probably 80 degrees. It's sunny. It's beautiful weather. I wouldn't want to be playing in that rain like they were. This one is understandable, excusable, Roy, for me. That was a downpour, my friend.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what's the conversation we had last week about Bolivia playing their games in El Alto at altitude of like 12,000, 13,000 feet or something crazy. This is similar. This drowns out the difference in quality between the teams. But for North Korea to go and get a 2-2 tie against Qatar, one of the best teams in this qualifying campaign, is absolute insanity. Rain or not, this is absurd to see this result. And it wasn't exactly a super dominant performance from Qatar. They were up a man for the entire game, pretty much.
Yeah. What
What is going on here?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Wild.
It's a strange phenomenon. Teams going up players and still not being able to get it done. I don't know, but that was a fascinating round of Asian qualifiers for the next World Cup, I should say. It's fascinating to watch just the passion, the enthusiasm that all these stadiums are filled with, and we'll continue to cover Asian football. We'll continue to dig out some deep stories. I'm sure there's some deep cuts or some connections that we have, boys. So exciting. So keep watching the beautiful game out there. And I'll say it. Go Asian football.
Vamos. Salamat.
Vamos.